All right, so this week in Pax Dei, we got the official name for the autumn update, as well as the date that it is going to be coming to all of us, and a whole heck of a lot of details about what the upcoming wipe is going to entail. We also this week got a little teaser image of all of the Inquisition models that are getting updated, and I think we have a pretty clear picture of what's coming in the update. Obviously, there is still time for all of the update to be finalized and what actually is going to be included and what's not going to be. But we're going to talk about that and what I think we can expect or what is safe to expect in today's episode of the Pax Friday Review. This is a show where we talk about all of the fun, interesting, new, and exciting information that is dropped for Pax Day over the last week. Like I said at the very beginning during the intro, yes, we do have the name of the autumn update. It is called Proving Grounds, and it says Early Access verse 1 underneath it. So I would imagine all of these subsequent updates are going to be additional verses. It is called the Proving Grounds. I believe that is because this particular update is heavily focused on more of the solo PvE content and all of that. So we are going to talk about what I think is going to be included in this update, when I think the next update after this is going to be, and most importantly, we're going to talk about all of the frequently asked questions with regards to what's happening when the update arrives. We know that there's a wipe. We know that all of the characters are being saved, but not so much for all of our creations on our plots. There's some new updated maps as well, which we are going to at least show on this episode. But before we get to all of that, please do consider hitting a like button if you enjoy this type of content, subscribing so that you can get notified whenever we come out with new Pax Dei or Pax Dei related information, and share this video with any of your friends who might be looking to stay up to date with all things Pax Dei. All right, we're going to head on over and take a look at the frequently asked questions, specifically with regards to the wipe and the update that is coming. I'll see you over there. All right, so first things first, we are here on playpaxday.com, and we have the update that was given to us yesterday. This was actually posted on Thursday, at least Thursday, my local time. And it says Proving Grounds patch arriving on November 5th. So this is the big news for this week. We now have a confirmed date, which is very great because then that means everyone can start planning for when the wipe is actually going to happen. I know the Golden Company, the group that I'm a part of, we are planning a massive party happening the Saturday before the wipe, and that's going to be November 2nd. If you're interested, come and hang out. It is going to be located in Dolavan at the Petra Day on the Danu server, which is the NA East RP server. That's where we're located. It's where the Golden City's located. You've seen it in a couple of the promotional things for Pax Day in the past, but we are putting a big shindig together and it's going to be really fun. You're invited if you're listening to this. We'd love to have you. But with that being said, November 5th, what is happening? So the Proving Grounds update, which is verse 1 of all of Pax Day's updates. I guess updates are being called verses, which sounds, again, really cool. I like that. But this particular patch is focused on enabling players to experience more in the early game. One of the biggest feedbacks that I think Mainframe got was players didn't really get onboarded well to what actually Pax Dei was, and they didn't have a lot of access to many early game spells. So I think in this update, we are going to be getting a whole heck of a lot of new spells, not necessarily combat spells. In fact, the developers came into the general Discord for Pax Dei and they clarified that pretty much all of the spells, or most of the spells, are going to be non-combat oriented spells. So these are going to be things where maybe you're buffing yourself beforehand, or you're giving yourself movement or stamina boosts or something like that. Not as much I am doing damage to an enemy that I have targeted. We also know that with the update, there's going to be changes to the combat and how all of the combat feels, as well as being able to action cancel. Yes, I am so happy about that. It's going to really add some breath of life into the PvP scene as well. Not that it's been a focus yet for the developers, but it's going to be really, really great. I think it's going to really improve how we feel in combat. It is incremental improvements though. Don't expect there to be just a huge change. It's going to be something that happens gradually as the game continues to develop. But either way, wow, I digressed. Continuing on, the geography of the game is actually changing. So they're adding some new bits and baubles to the map. And with that, they have to generate kind of an entirely new map, which means the geometries are going to be all off and out of whack. And they're also updating to 5.3, Unreal Engine 5.3 that is, which means all of the maps and all of our plots and all of the things that we've built on them are getting wiped. It's going to be a completely fresh slate. With that being said, you are not going to lose all of your progress though. Your characters, their skills, their equipment, everything is going to be saved. It is going to be saved and put into the little envelope thing that we've seen in the UI before. I think I'll go and find an image like that to post it here so you can see. But either way, you are going to get access to all of those materials that were on your plots, regardless of whose materials they were. If it's on your plot, it's going to end up in your inventory shared storage thing. It is also important to note that this storage is a one-way stop. So all of your materials get put in it. You don't get to deposit things in it. It's not a bank. You can only withdraw things. So maybe it's kind of like a credit card that you never paid off. But either way, the update is going to give us back, as the world is being wiped, all of our items and materials are going to be preserved and stored away for us so that we can use it. The maps did get updated. They are what I would consider more incremental and small changes. There were a bunch of new roads that have been added to kind of prevent players from being able to just block entire entries or exits from home valleys. And then the actual lines around the home valleys have changed slightly. Nothing necessarily of note worth really bringing up on today's video, but I highly recommend you go and check it out. I'll leave a link down below to access all of the updated maps. Another important thing that is really important actually is that all of the servers are now being changed. Their names are being changed. And there's also going to be a reduction of the total number of servers. I think they're trying to jam pack these things. So EU is only getting 2 servers, NA is getting 2 servers, and Oceania is getting its 1 server like it had before. There are only 2 RP servers, Artemis and Nyx. Nyx is where I'm going to be at if you're wondering. And that is pretty much all that we have for that information. The other stuff that's going to be coming with this update, including the solo or small group PvE encounters, is also going to be things like the journal and some more kind of just general changes to the world. What I would imagine specifically to be changes with the soloable PvE content coming in as well. There's going to be more information coming out in the next couple of weeks. I think we're about 2 weeks away from 2.5 weeks away from the update being dropped. So there's still a lot of time to learn about what is to come. And I think based on all of the information that we've been given here, I think that we might actually not be seeing knighthoods and the markets and the religious system yet. I do think that there is a high likelihood that we will see it before the end of the year. I know they mentioned a winter update. Maybe this is kind of a situation where they're just dropping something now to kind of get people out there and playing. They want to test some stuff a little bit more before they release the knighthoods and all of that. But very excited to kind of learn what actually is going to be in the Proving Grounds update for Pax Dei on November 5th. They also mentioned in the official Discord that new permissions are going to be getting added with this particular patch, with the Proving Grounds patch the content update. So stay tuned for that. They haven't really shared exactly what those permissions updates are going to be, but they did say that they are coming. So we'll probably learn about them either next week or the week after. Now, let's go ahead and head on over to the FAQ section for all the plot wipe stuff. I can answer some of the questions, the common questions that you all might have for that, and I will see you over there. All right, so here we are now looking at the Proving Grounds wipe general information section. So specifically, again, it is happening on November 5th at 9 a.m. UTC. The maintenance is going to last about 4 hours. Typically, the maintenance ends a lot sooner and the servers will spin up before then. So just be on the lookout for it. And they do explain why they're doing the wipe. The first verse, which is a content update, is having some geography changes. We kind of mentioned that earlier. And because of that, they are having to kind of regenerate a lot of the terrain. It also goes without note that there is a new biome and some new resources being distributed as well as PvE locations. So that's kind of what warrants it. And then in addition to that, there is also more roads being added so that players can't block things. So because of that, they are resetting all of the plots and everything is going to be getting deposited back into a box basically on your account. All the raw materials are going to go back there and you will have access to anything on any of the plots at an account level, but your characters are also going to be saved. Now, it is very important to note that your character name is not saved yet. So you have to log in and select your new server and then your character name will pop up and you can, select your character name or choose a new one if you have to. So that is something that you are going to have to do for that. It also is important to note that clans are all being disbanded. You're going to have to reform your clans and reinvite all of your members back. So just be wary of that on November 5th. And this also means that all of the inactive plots are going to be getting wiped if players aren't logging in to actually go and replace plots, then there's going to be less plots placed. So that is going to help alleviate some of the crowding issues that we've been experiencing right now. And with that, everything else, it's being wiped. So you're going to say goodbye to all of your wonderful buildings and creations. So you have the next 2.5 weeks to make sure that you've documented everything you want to, visited all the places that you want to, and make sure that you're all nice and squared away for all of that. Now, when it comes to characters, they did have an expanded section here about the characters that are being wiped. So your existing characters, again, they are not being affected by the wipe. You are retaining everything, your inventory, your gear, your skills after the maintenance. You're just going to have to take your character from that and transfer them back into whatever server that they are in. So you can see right here, here's a screenshot of that. Now, what I find interesting is when your character has been transferred out of a world, they call them a vagrant character, and you will have to select a world to place that character in and then make sure that you select the correct name. So they do say that the name that you have, if it is taken, that is something that you're going to have to deal with on your own. They're not going to be able to help you in any way, shape, or form reclaim that name. Any player who gets the name first, that is the name that they got. And they understand that players have unique connections to their names, but that is just the way the cookie crumbles. And they also said that you obviously can create new characters if you wish to and want to start over, and that you'll still be able to get that stash or the items back from your plots, even if you're not using the same character. So let's take a look at the plot resources here as well. So here is the little envelope that I was talking about previously. It says World Wipe Package. What I find interesting is yeah, this feature is for your world wipe and getting everything back. However, it also looks like it is part of a mail system that is going to be coming in the future. And this is just where you received some mail. So I could imagine this if they had like a cosmetic shop or something like that, or in-game mail, it would probably pop up and populate right there. So you can see an example here of all of the refunded items. So you can see all the fine wood beams, wood pegs, the nice rocks, and holy cow, look at all that clay. And this is where you can start to pull these things off. There's also a really nice search feature. I think this is also what's going to happen if, like, let's say when the game releases and there's a subscription and you cancel your subscription, you're not going to lose all of your stuff. They're just going to pack it all up and put it in here. So then when you come back, if you do choose to resubscribe at any point in time, you will get all of your stuff back and start back from the get-go at this point. So it is really cool that they've developed this, and I'm really excited to see how that kind of translates to some quality of life features for players in the future. Now, everything else, yes, you can start accumulating everything that you need or that you want. If you have it on your plot, you're going to get it. There is no specific time that there's a cutoff where they're going to save everything that was on your plot and go. It's whatever was on your plot at the time of wiping that it is going to be transferred over. It goes without saying as well that if you do have any timed crafters like furnaces or something like that, that anything that's been put into a furnace will be preserved. But if you have something left in the queue, then and you haven't picked it up yet because it's been finished crafting, then that is not going to be there. So make sure you kind of cut off all of your resource crafting, like ingots and stuff like that might take a while, like the day before the patch comes out, just to be sure. So other things that are just important, if you have shared clan plots and all of that, then you're going to want to make sure that if you want to get your stuff, you need to go and put it onto your plot. Or if your clanmates are fine with that, then that's what it is. But it's really up to us, the players, you know, who do you trust? Who do you not trust? And keep it where it is. And there is no ownership of something. If it's on your plot, then it's going to show up in your particular inventory after the fact. Then they also just had a little FAQ about the clans. Clan names getting reset. Clans are getting reset. You're going to have to re-invite everyone. And then other than that, that is pretty much all that there is to cover for the wipe that is happening on November 5th with verse 1 for Pax Dei Early Access, which is being called the Proving Grounds. And that's really all that we have for today's episode as well. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks as they kind of ramp up and tell us what we can expect to come in the next update and what's coming in the future. And if you enjoyed this type of content, I really would appreciate it if you could hit that like button and also subscribe so you can get notified whenever we come out with new videos. It does help us grow the channel out as well. And then also share with any of your friends who maybe they played Pax Dei way back when, and now is a good time to come back. And really, you can even come back right now. You don't have to wait for the update to come, because all the stuff that you do right now is going to carry over your progress. Even your items and materials are going to carry over in the next couple of weeks. So great time to get back into Pax Dei. And with that, that's all that we have for today's Pax Friday review. So until next time, I'm Altari, the Professional Gamer.